got Will Brooks here on the program. He's going to be fighting this Thursday against Luiz Firmino at PFL 2018 Event 2. Will, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. Just on my way home from the gym, I had to pull over real quick so I can jump on this interview.
Well, I appreciate you not putting yourself in danger and doing this interview while you're driving, so glad to hear that, man. But obviously this is your PFL debut coming up here, and it's a big deal to be a part of this tournament. You're one of the names I'm sure people are keeping an eye on. When you left the UFC, were there several offers on the table, or was PFL just one of the ones that just sort of stood out and you had to get it?
Oh, there was a handful of offers. You know, we had a few discussions with other organizations, and you know, we had a few days just to weigh our options. And you know, UFC was still in the mix for a couple of things. You know, and we just kind of sat back and was thinking to ourselves, all right, what would be the best idea for me right now, where I'm at, you know, mentally and physically in regards to trying to rebuild what I've, rebuild my career in a way. You know, and we just stepped back and was like, all right, you know, this PFL thing is a good opportunity financially, good opportunity to help this brand grow, the sport of mixed martial arts to grow. So, you know, there was a handful of offers, and PFL just kind of seemed like the best idea at the time, you know.
How much is the format of how they're doing things with the regular season and the playoffs sort of play a role in you taking it? Because it's a lot different than what we're seeing from other promotions.
Yeah, see, that was the biggest part that got my attention, was the fact that you know exactly when you're going to be fighting, how often you could possibly fight. You have all the control on getting to the grand prize and getting to the championship. There's no ducking or moving around in the rankings, moving pieces around like this and that. It just all comes down to you performing and competing and getting the win that night, you know, and being able to move on. So that format of constantly going, kind of like you're fighting every other month, really was exciting to me, because I'm that type of guy in regards to the way I train, in regards to the way I live my life. Is I'm very much a rhythm type of guy. So once I get going, I don't like having a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is between fights. I want to just be able to compete, keep my body loose, and just keep going. So this format that the PFL is presenting is a great opportunity, you know.
And how was the media day they had a couple of weeks back? I know they, had all you guys in doing all the fighters together to do media stuff. How did that compare to some of the stuff you've done with Bellator and the UFC in the past?
Yeah, man, I think it was on the same scale as those. You know, I think it was very professional, very well put together, very well organized, and a lot of educational points in regards to how the format is going to go, how the regular season operates, the playoffs, the championship, and you know, just giving us a good idea on how to approach social media, how to promote our fights, how to build our brand, things like that, and also just giving us opportunity to be able to project ourselves more into the organization and have a little bit more say-so in regards to what we do and how much control the fighters have in the organization. So it was up there with a UFC, a Bellator situation, and I just thought, me personally, I thought it was a little bit more educational than other organizational or the other fighter meetings or whatever programs that they put together, you know.
So this fight's in Chicago. Obviously, you're from Chicago. How many people have been hitting you up for tickets, trying to go to this event?
Oh man, I've had a ton of people, and it's always expected, right? You know, like even though people have to travel, they've had to travel in the past. I've had people hit me up and all this, but since they found out I'm coming home, man, it's been crazy, you know. So I usually have everybody hit up my wife, so I never have to deal with it.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely hearing her get in my ear and chirping and yelling at me, getting mad at me because 50 other people or whoever is trying to reach out to her. So, you know, it's a crazy, chaotic thing for my wife more than me.
Okay, fair enough. That's smart. You can focus on the training, and then I guess you just hear it from your wife later, right? You don't have to remember it during the day. Let's talk about your opponent here, man. Luiz Firmino. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. How do you feel like you match up against him?
I think I match up on paper. I match up very well. I think I'm very skilled. You know, I have a lot more skills than he possesses. I think I'm more creative and can improvise and adapt on the go in the middle of the fight. I think he's a very basic style fighter where he does very, very, very basic things, but he's going to do them very well. You know, and if you make a mistake, then that's the time where he'll capitalize. I look at this fight very similar to Nick Lentz, who I just recently fought. Unfortunately, didn't get the job done with that fight, but very one-dimensional. But if you do make a mistake, you aren't paying attention, in that 1 second of not thinking, he can easily jump on your neck, easily jump on your arm, and and tap you. And it all just comes down to you being constantly focused throughout the fight and being able to reset yourself and really win it 5 seconds at a time and not trying to win the entire fight within just 1 minute, you know. And he's a very skilled, tough guy. So it's one of those things where I just have to be very, very conscious of what I'm doing, you know.
Who have been some of your main training partners for this camp?
Oh, man, I mean, I typically have the same guys, you know, and I hate to do the whole – it's hard when you're at a gym like American Top Team.
Right. I know we'd be here all day, yeah.
Yeah, you know, you're name dropping in a way, you know, but I've had some help from one of my very good friends, longtime friend, Dustin Poirier. We kind of came around ATT around the same time, so during all of our training camps, we found at some point how to get together and do some work with each other. I've had a lot of help from Tony Martin, one of our best coaches in the game, Mike Brown, who's incredibly intelligent, legend of the sport. Ryan Quinn, George Masvidal, just a handful of incredibly talented guys, and the list goes on just because we're at American Top Team, so you got incredible high-level training partners everywhere, every single day, and coaches, you know, so, you know.
How much was it a boost to your camp seeing Colby Covington get the title and winning and, you know, kind of shutting a lot of people up? Because a lot of people were writing him off in that fight.
Yeah, he's, you know, I personally don't agree with what he's been doing in regards to promoting his fights, but I can appreciate a good fighter. You know, he's a talented fighter. He works extremely hard in the gym, and for me, that part of watching his work ethic when he's in the building, that's the one thing I do, you know, take a lot of energy from and take a lot of pride in watching the way he works and try to incorporate the way he pushes himself in the gym. And, you know, that in itself, his work ethic can definitely motivate a lot of guys in the gym, you know.
How's the weight cut going, getting down to 55?
Yeah, it's going well, man. I typically always have an easier weight cut. You know, I've been cutting weight my whole life, coming from a wrestling background and playing football. You know, I've been, you know, you go from wrestling to football season, having to bulk up and then cut weight back to wrestling season or cut a little bit of weight to run track and different things like that, you know. And I've been doing this for a long time, you know, my body's gotten adjusted to it. And, you know, as I gotten older, you can have sometimes easier weight cuts, sometimes it'd be a little bit tougher, but, you know, a weight cut is a weight cut, man. I never have too many issues with it.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
This fight I'm going to have Dean Thomas and Coach Conan Silva. A lot of our main coaches, you know, Dean Thomas and Conan are legends in mixed martial arts, you know, and they're incredible coaches. And I have one of my very good friends, Dennis Burgess, who's been with me for a very long time. He's been in my corner, originally started out as my boxing coach. He's my boxing coach for about 5 years before I moved to ATT, you know, and he's just somebody that's always been in my life, you know, so I always have him in my corner. But, yeah, I have those three guys with me, you know.
How do you see this fight playing out on Thursday? I mean, you're going to get the win. You wouldn't have taken the fight, but how do you sort of see it unfolding?
I think it's going to be one of those things where if I can get out there and just be comfortable, get nice and loose from the jump, I put a lot of pressure on him, but I also make him feel less skilled than myself. You know, I'll make him feel that pressure to, I have to force something because if I don't, he's just going to outclass me. And that's what I plan on doing, is going out there and just flat out outclassing him and being consistent with that mindset, you know, and just having fun with just punching him, having fun with striking him, having fun with defending everything he throws at me and watching him fall apart with his game plan. And as soon as he starts searching and looking for the exit, I'm definitely going to be the man to show him the door. And if that's a finish, if that's going all 3 rounds and just having to get a unanimous decision by like just a clean, beautiful performance, then that's what it is, you know. But I'm not going to go chase anything. I'm not going to go out of my way to do anything. I'm just going to let the fight come to me and just show that I'm the better fighter.
Who do you think is the toughest lightweight this season, aside from yourself? Because if I asked you that, of course you have to say yourself.
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't really paid attention. You know, I know of the other fighters, but in my gym at ATT and with my coaches, with even our fighters, we always preach the same mindset, one fight at a time. Either that's in the league format that the PFL is presenting or the regular formats that Bellator or the UFC or Risen or any other promotion puts together. Our job is only to focus on that one task at hand, and our coaches do a great job with keeping us locked in. And even teammates keep each other locked in and and focus on that. So I haven't had a lot of time to focus on other guys, especially coming off a 3-fight losing streak. You know, I don't have time to be focused on other things. I only got time to focus on getting back to winning. You know?
What would you do if you won the $1 million at the end of the season and everything wrapped up? I'm sure that has crossed your mind. We can talk about that a little bit, can't we?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I'm a guy that I do tend to think about the future, and I think sometimes I can think about the future too much, but you have to, in anything that you do, you have to visualize what you want out of life, you know. So for me, I got a handful of things that I've been putting together recently in the past couple of years that is just right there on the cusp of coming together. I want to open up my own gym. I've got a space for that I'm just ready to move into. So once this whole training camp or tournament is over with, it'd be a great opportunity to be able to put some money into that financially, and just try to do some other things. And of course, you know, putting more money into college funds for my kids, you know. So a lot of what I want to do with the money is more generate and put towards how do I help my family, put my family in a good position to have the best life that I can present for them, and also doing some charitable work outside my own life. You know?
And last question before I let you go here. I see you got the blonde hair, just a little bit of blonde hair there. Are you going for the Simon Phoenix look from Demolition Man or what?
You know what? The funny thing is I actually was like, it was more Wiz Khalifa.
Okay.
And,
okay, fair enough.
I was watching him because he just got into Muay Thai recently. And I was watching some of his videos, and I was just like, I saw one picture of him hitting some pads. I was like, wait a minute, does he really know what he's doing? So I went to his page, and I was just scrolling through trying to see if he had some Muay Thai striking videos. And I saw a couple of pictures with his blind spot. I was like, dang, you know what? I'm kind of bored right now. I would love to try to do something different. I was like, you know what? I'm a fan of Wiz Khalifa. I think that's pretty dope. I can rock that. So I just went with it, you know, and it just kind of, it's something my wife really liked, and I've gotten a lot of good reactions from other people. So I'm like, you know what? I like it. It's growing on me. So we'll see if I'll keep it, you know.
Good stuff, man. Well, it's going to be a great fight coming up here this Thursday. It's PFL Event 2 2018. Will, it was great talking to you, man. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media. And if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah. Well, I just want to give all praise and glory to my Lord and my Savior, Jesus Christ, who just, every time I felt like I was down and I was out, or I was depressed, I was bummed out and just didn't think I could get back up, he just continues to do great work in my life. And I just want to thank Everlast for continuing to be a partner of mine and continue to work with me and supply me with incredible equipment and incredible opportunities. They just funded one of my a mission trip to Cuba where we went to a boxing gym and donated a bunch of gear to some underprivileged kids and underprivileged adults, you know, and they sponsored me with that, and they've continued to support me. And everybody can catch me on both social media, Twitter and Instagram at illxwillbrooks86, and that's the same for both of my accounts. And they can reach me on my fan page on Facebook at illwillbrooks fan page, and that's about it, man. Yeah.
What's up, fight fans? If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to see even more interviews with your favorite UFC and Bellator fighters. We've also got coverage at events, including post-fight press conferences and media scrums. And if you like this video, check out the video to my right. It's worth your time.